A Doll's House by Henrik Ibsen. Contents: Act 1, 2, and 3. Character list: Torvald Helmer, Nora, his wife, Dr. Rank, Miss Lind, Nils Krogstad, Helmer's 3 young children, Anne, their nurse, a housemaid, and a porter. The action takes place in Helmer's house. A Doll's House, Act 1. Scene: a room furnished comfortably and tastefully, but not extravagantly. At the back, a door to the right leads to the entrance hall. Another to the left leads to Helmer's study. Between the doors stands a piano. In the middle of the left-hand wall is a door, and beyond it, a window. Near the window are a round table, armchairs, and a small sofa. In the right-hand wall, at the farther end, another door, and on the same side, nearer the footlights, a stove, 2 easy chairs, and a rocking chair. Between the stove and the door, a small table. Engravings on the walls, a cabinet with china and other small objects, a small bookcase with well-bound books. The floors are carpeted, and a fire burns in the stove. It is winter. A bell rings in the hall. Shortly afterwards, the door is heard to open. Enter Nora, humming a tune and in high spirits. She is in outdoor dress and carries a number of parcels. These she lays on the table to the right. She leaves the outer door open after her, and through it is seen a porter, who is carrying a Christmas tree and a basket, which he gives to the maid, who has opened the door. Nora: hide the Christmas tree carefully, Helen. Be sure the children do not see it until this evening, when it is dressed. To the porter, taking out her purse. How much? Porter: 6 pence. Nora: there is a shilling. No, keep the change. The porter thanks her and goes out. Nora shuts the door. She is laughing to herself, and as she takes off her hat and coat, she takes a packet of macaroons from her pocket and eats 1 or 2, then goes cautiously to her husband's door and listens. Yes, he is in. Still humming, she goes to the table on the right. Helmer calls out from his room. Is that my little lark twittering out there? Nora, busy opening some of the parcels. Yes, it is. Helmer, is it my little squirrel bustling about? Nora, yes. Helmer, when did my squirrel come home? Nora, just now. Puts the bag of macaroons into her pocket and wipes her mouth. Come in here, Torvald, and see what I have bought. Helmer, don't disturb me. A little later, he opens the door and looks into the room, pen in hand. Bought, did you say? All these things? Has my little spendthrift been wasting money again? Nora, yes, Torvald. This year, we really can let ourselves go a little. This is the first Christmas that we have not needed to economize. Helmer, still, you know we can't spend money recklessly. Nora, yes, Torvald, we may be a wee bit more reckless now, mayn't we? Just a tiny wee bit. We are going to have a big salary. You are going to have a big salary and earn lots of money. Yes, after the new year. But then it will be a whole quarter before the salary is due. Pooh, we can borrow until then. Nora goes up to her and takes her playfully by the ear. The same little featherhead. Suppose now that I borrowed 50 pounds today and you spent it all the Christmas week, and then on New Year's Eve, a slate fell on my head and killed me. And, putting her hands over his mouth, oh, don't say such horrid things. Still, suppose that happened. What then? If that were to happen, I don't suppose I should care whether I owed money or not. Yes, but what about the people who had lent it? They? Who would bother about them? I should not know who they were. That is like a woman. But seriously, Nora, you know what I think about that. No debt, no borrowing. There can be no freedom or beauty about a home that depends on borrowing and debt. We two have kept bravely on the straight road so far, and we will go on the same way for the short time longer that there need be any struggle. Nora moves towards the stove. As you please, Torvald. Following her. Come, come, my little skylark, must not droop her wings. What is this? Is my little squirrel out of temper? Taking out his purse. Nora, what do you think I have got here? Nora, turning round quickly. Money? There you are. Gives her some money. Do you think I don't know what a lot is wanted for housekeeping at Christmas time? Counting. 10 shillings? A pound? 2 pounds? Thank you, Torvald. That will keep me going for a long time. Indeed it must. Yes, it will. But come here and let me show you what I've bought. And all of this so cheap. Look, here is a new suit for Ivar, and a sword, and a horse and a trumpet for Bob, and a doll and Dolly's bedstead for Emmy. They are very plain, but anyway, she will soon break them to pieces. And here are dress lengths and handkerchiefs for the maids. Old Anne ought really to have something better. And what is in this parcel? Crying out, No, you mustn't see that until this evening. Very well. Now tell me, you extravagant little person, what would you like for yourself? For myself? Oh, I am sure I don't want anything. Yes, but you must. Tell me something reasonable that you would particularly like to have. No, I really can't think of anything, unless Torvald. Well, playing with his coat buttons and without raising her eyes to his, if you really want to give me something, you might, well, out with it. Speaking quickly, you might give me some money, Torvald, only just as much as you can afford, and then one of these days I will buy something with it. But Nora, oh, do, dear Torvald, please do. Then I will wrap it up in a beautiful gilt paper and hang it on the Christmas tree. Wouldn't that be fun? What are little people called that are always wasting money? I know, spendthrifts. Let us do as you suggest, Torvald, and then I shall have time to think what I am in most want of. This is a very sensible plan, isn't it? Smiling. Indeed it is. That is to say, if you were to really save out of money I give you, and then really buy something for yourself. If you spend all of it on housekeeping and any number of unnecessary things, then I merely have to pay up again. Oh, but Torvald, you can't deny it, my dear little Nora. He puts his arm round her waist. It's a sweet little spendthrift, but she uses up a great deal of money. One would hardly believe how expensive such little persons are. It's a shame to say that. I do really save all I can. Laughing. That's very true. All you can. But you can't save anything. Smiling quietly and happily. You haven't any idea how many expenses we skylarks and squirrels have, Torvald. You are an odd little soul, very much like your father. You always find some new way of wielding money out of me, and as soon as you have got it, it seems to melt in your hands. You never know where it has gone. Still, one must take you as you are. It is in the blood. For indeed it is true that you can inherit these things, Nora. Ah, I wish I had inherited many of Papa's qualities. And I would not wish to be anything but just as you are, my sweet little Skylark. But do you know, it strikes me that you are looking rather, what shall I say, rather uneasy today? You do? Really? Look straight at me. Well, wagging his finger at her, hasn't my Miss Sweet-Tooth been breaking rules in town today? No, what makes you think that? Hasn't she paid a visit to the confectioner's? No, I assure you, Torvald. Not been nibbling sweets? No, certainly not. Not even taken a bite at a macaroon or two? No, Torvald, I assure you, really. There, of course I was only joking. Going to the table on the right. I should not think of going against your wishes. No, I'm sure of that. Besides, you gave me your word. Going up to her, keep your little Christmas secrets to yourself, darling. They will all be revealed tonight when the Christmas tree is lit, no doubt. Did you remember to invite Dr. Rank? No, but there is no need. As a matter of course, he will come to dinner with us. However, I will ask him when he comes in this morning. I've ordered some good wine, Nora. You can't think how I am looking forward to this evening. So am I, and how the children will enjoy themselves, Torvald. It is splendid to feel that one has a perfectly safe appointment and a big enough income. It's delightful to think of it, isn't it? It's wonderful. Do you remember last Christmas? For a full 3 weeks beforehand, you shut yourself up every evening until long after midnight, making ornaments for the Christmas tree and all the other fine things that were to be a surprise to us. It was the dullest 3 weeks I ever spent. I didn't find it dull, smiling, but there was precious little result, Nora. Oh, you shouldn't tease me about that again. How could I help the cats going in and tearing everything to pieces? Of course you couldn't, poor little girl. You had the best of intentions to please us all, and that's the main thing. But it is a good thing that our hard times are over. Yes, it really is wonderful. This time I needn't sit here and be dull all alone, and you needn't ruin your dear eyes and your pretty little hands. Clapping her hands. No, Torvald, I needn't any longer, need I? It's wonderfully lovely to hear you say so. Taking his arms. Now I will tell you how I have been thinking we ought to arrange things, Torvald. As soon as Christmas is over, a bell rings in the hall. There's the bell. She tidies the room a little. There's someone at the door. What a nuisance. It is a caller. Remember, I am not home. The maid in the doorway. A lady to see you, ma'am. A stranger. Ask her to come in. Maid to Helmer. The doctor came at the same time, sir. Did you send him straight into my room? Yes, sir. Helmer goes into his room, and the maid ushers Miss Lind, who is in traveling dress, and shuts the door.